going to dissect the fetal pig. And what I've done first is made an incision here right above where the umbilical cord was attached. And we're going to use our scissors. And the reason we're doing this is because you guys didn't get a chance to do any major dissection. We were going to do the rat with biology, the mink with the juniors, and the fetal pig with the seniors. And if you notice, I'm cutting with the scissors. I'm going right through the sternum now. And with the fetal pig, the bones are pretty soft. They haven't completely solidified yet. So things cut fairly smooth. Okay, so I made my cut down the mid area. If you open it up, you can see the heart's right here. It's kind of connected right in here. This is where the diaphragm would be at. What I'm going to do is separate that along the side. And then I'm going to go near the arms here, front legs. And things are pretty soft with the pig. We'll try to slip around the umbilical cord here. Okay, and right there you can see this is the liver. And then you can see the intestines now, particularly the small intestines.
So what type of tissue are you kind of cutting through right now?
Well, we cut through the epithelial tissue on the outside to start with. And then you've got some of the skeletal muscles, the abdominals. We talked about in the one other video with the rectus abdominis. Down there, back here, I'd be cutting through the latissimus dorsi, which is with the collarbone, and the would be the scapula in those areas there. Okay, I'm snipping the diaphragm here now again, the part that's... Okay, what we have here is, this is the dividing line between the peritoneal cavity down here and the pleural cavity up above here. So the pleural cavity is containing the heart, which is right here, and the lungs, right in here. Peritoneal cavity from the diaphragm, and that's how thin this muscle is right here, your diaphragm. But you've got your liver down here, and then underneath that is your stomach, and the small intestines here. And with the fetal pig, the large intestines are going to look about the same. We're going to finish trimming here a little bit more. And what I'm separating back here now are the kidneys. This will be the right kidney right here. And it had a membrane that was holding it to the dorsal wall of the pig. And we're going to break the ribs so that this stays open a little bit better. And then we'll go up in the neck area here. And if you ever heard the old nursery rhyme, not by the hair on my chinny chin chin, pigs have a little little welt on the bottom of their chin there that's got a few sprouts of hair sticking out. What the purpose of that is, I have no idea. Okay, so now I'm going to tip him this way. And we'll keep snipping down the back again. And we're going to go up under the leg here. So, and if you remember doing your frogs, it's the same type of motion here with the cutting action. And we've got to do a little more separation with the diaphragm here. A good little sound action there. And break the ribs here. And now we can see the spleen. So that's this little flat organ right here on the left-hand side of the body. Again, this serves as a reservoir for blood. Also works with the lymph system, which is one of the main body's filtering setups. And when we take a look at the lungs here, okay, so this is pretty much exactly the way that you would look inside. Left side right here, you have a large bottom lobe and you've got an upper lobe. On the right side, we've got the same setup here. You've got a large bottom lobe, a mid lobe, and an upper lobe. So with your lungs, you have 3 lobes on the right side, 2 lobes on the left side. Okay, with the heart, when we're looking at it, this bottom part here is cardiac muscle. When they do heart transplants, this is the main thing that they want really healthy when they're doing that. Also, I got it kind of cut when we opened it up, but when you hear about the pericardium or the sac around the heart or fluid around the heart, this little sac would be going all the way around and encasing it. And if there would be any bleeding in here, then it would tend to fill up this little sac and cause undue pressure on the heart. Up on top, this is the right atrium, and this is the left atrium. And what we're going to do next then is look at some of the blood vessels here connecting in down here, and this might be a little bit difficult to see, but this is on the right side. This would be the inferior vena cava. And then up here is the superior vena cava, connecting right here in what they call the vena cava, and that would be going into this upper chamber of the heart. This is all kind of flattened out right now, so the heart might be as big as my thumb when it's full of blood. Okay, then we go over to this side. And we've got some connection areas here. These are the pulmonary veins coming in. One's coming from the right lung, and the other one's coming from the left lung, and they're going into the left atrium. Coming out the top, curving like this and going towards the back, and you've got some branches. You can see this one right in here coming off it. This is the aorta, largest blood vessel artery in the body. Okay, I'm going to remove the heart. And you've got a little bit of loose blood because this pig had its own circulation going when it was inside its mother. And so the blood that was in the baby pig is not blood from the mother. This pig made its own blood. Okay, now with the heart, then you can see, like I said, this was the superior vena cava coming in up here, inferior vena cava down here, aorta right here. Now we've got another little opening here. This would have been the pulmonary artery coming up from the left side of the heart, or excuse me, the right side of the heart. It would angled across in there. It's coming up from here. The aorta comes from the left side of the heart. Now if we cut this open, and we'll try to slice down through the middle of things. We'll show you a few structures on the inside of the heart here. Hopefully things will be fairly clear. Which, let's take some paper towel here and kind of dry this out. And okay, so the heart was like this, got down through the atria, and you can see the space in here, and not real clear because this is fairly small, but this area down in here would be the left ventricle. Now when you look at the heart, this side is really thick. This is the septum, the center of the heart, and then this side here is fairly thin. Okay, hopefully this comes out here, but this is the valve area. And on the right side, that would be the tricuspid valve. You can see these little bitty strands. Those are called chorda tendineae. They keep that valve from buckling backwards. And then on this side, you would have the bicuspid valve, and this is kind of discolored with all the loose blood that's there, but I can get underneath it there. So just like little flaps, and they've got the same little cords here that are holding that in place. Okay, so that's the inside of the heart. Okay, this tube right here, going to kind of trim loose a little bit. Kind of looks like a straw. This is the trachea. And I can feel that it's rough. You have little rings all around here, but that's what's bringing the air from the mouth and nostrils down into the lungs. This enlarged area up here is the larynx. And if we can remove this, we might be able to get a look at the inside. And if you notice, there's another little tube right underneath it. And that tube that I'm separating right there, that's the esophagus. So food would travel down the back side. Okay, this is we're looking through here. This is the voice box area. This is the opening is the glottis. This little flap right here that goes across there to close it, that's the epiglottis. Okay, and if we can cut down through here, and I don't know if this is going to show up very clear for the vocal cords. No, we can't see them very well. They're not very well developed on this. So with this, then we're going to go down through here and we're going to try to remove the lungs. And leave the esophagus in there, hopefully, so you can see where it connects onto the stomach. Okay, now it looks like this is connected to the liver, but it is, but it isn't. You've got some blood vessels going through there that are making it look like that. So, I mean, it is connected, but it isn't, if you want to look at it that way. And so, this will give you an idea what the, oops, there's our right side. Let's get the left side here. With our lungs, then on the back side, this is what the lungs would look like. Okay, and what I was talking about, this was a trachea that was hooked up to the lungs. And you can see it's just a little hollow tube. Okay, so mentioned this earlier, this little tube here, this is the esophagus. And right underneath that, you've got this really thick white line right here. This was the aorta. This was that large blood vessel hooked up to the heart. So they call this the descending aorta. This descending down into the lower part of the body. And once again, you had the diaphragm that was across there. So we've taken care of the upper part now. We're going down to the lower part. And you've got the liver here. And we'll try to get this removed. And we've got several lobes to the liver. And before I even go any further, there's a little sac-like thing right here. If you remember from your frog, it was like a little green ball, a greenish colored ball. Okay, it's a little more oblong right here, but that's the gallbladder sitting right in there. So when you have a number of lobes with the liver split up into sections, but your liver is the largest internal organ of the body. The largest organ of the body is the skin. We're going to trim this out of here. Trying to be careful with that esophagus back there. And so this is the liver. This is the way it would be sitting. Up underneath on the right side, like I said, is the gallbladder right there. Okay, I'll cut a section here, but you'll see this is really a solid structure. Okay, so if you've ever eaten liver, and you can see the little holes in there, you can see the stuff oozing out of there. Those would all be blood vessels traveling through here. This thing has upwards of 400 different functions. Everything from synthesizing vitamins and detoxifying things and filtering the blood. I mean, it's processing sugars. It's taking care of a lot of things for the body. So We got the liver out. And this was the esophagus traveling down through here. Here's your stomach, kind of in a J shape. And different sections of the stomach, right where the esophagus comes in, is called the cardia. This is the fundus. This part is really stretchable right here. So if you eat a lot of food, then your upper right part, left part of your abdominal area will kind of bulge out a little bit right in here. And then you've got a big storage area down in here called the antrum. And then down towards the end in here is the pylorus. And there's a hard little knot-like structure here, little bundle of muscles called the pyloric sphincter. Okay, if we take and snip the stomach out now, separate the spleen. And we'll snip it here. Whoops, got part of the spleen there with that. And so there we have the stomach. And we're going to snip it open to show you the little folds on the inside. Okay, and you can see those lines. So that allows for expansion so that when you get food in here, it's going to mush it up. Okay, and there is the pyloric sphincter. That little band of muscles almost looks star-like, but that keeps food, stays nice and tight, keeps food in the stomach till it gets broken down into a real soupy mess. Then it'll let it go to the small intestine. On the other end up here, this is the cardioesophageal constrictor. It's another little band of muscles, and that's what keeps food from going back up your throat. So when the stomach is working on it and mushing things around, so this thing's going to be just squishing food all around there. If you didn't have this little band of muscle, then it gets squished back up there. Sometimes people tear that and have a hiatal hernia, and then they've got problems and they do get things coming up. Or when you throw up, this relaxes and lets food go clear back that way. So we work our way down, and this little globular organ right here that was located right underneath the stomach, if you see all these little bitty bumps, that's the pancreas. This is the thing that's making insulin and a whole bunch of different enzymes in the body. There you can go, you can see it now. Real clear. It's a little globular organ located under there. It hooks into the small intestine here with the pancreatic duct to secrete those things to help break down all the different sugars and proteins. Some of the proteins are broken down in the stomach with hydrochloric acid and some pepsin. But you have things like stuff that breaks down regular sugar, sucrose, an enzyme called sucrase. And then if you have a malt, there's maltose type of sugar, and maltase is the enzyme that helps break that down. But that's all produced by this little organ right here. And if somebody's diabetic, the certain little cells on the outside called the islets of Langerhans are not working very well. Very hard to do a transplant with this organ. So I'm going to take the spleen and lay it over here. And you have to have your pancreas to live. You have to have your liver to live. Your spleen can be removed, though. If it gets ruptured for some reason, people have accidents this gets hit and damaged, and they can have that removed and function just fine. Okay, so then we've got the intestines. Now, on us, there are about 21 feet of this material right in here. Now you see where it changes here, and it's a little bit more solid looking. This would be the large intestine. A little bit different coloration. Okay, in humans, that's going to be about 8 foot long. So you've got about close to 30 feet of intestines. And then you got the last part here. This is called the rectum. Coming in down here where the waste material is going to leave the body. So we're going to remove this. And it all fits in a nice bunch. Now there's a membrane that's holding this together, and if you remember seeing this on your frog, a little fan-like thing right there, that's called the mesentery. So it carries blood to the intestines, but it also carries nutrients from the intestines to the circulation. Again, here's a real nice example of all this soft, squishy stuff right here. Small intestine, solid, more tubular-like setup here is the large intestine. On humans, it would be going like this. It goes up and around here. So the large intestine's arranged just a little bit different on a pig than it is on a human. Okay, then we get down here, and on each side there's a kidney. Kidney is real important for filtering your blood. The liver does some filtering, but excess water and things like that are filtered out of the body with the kidneys. And we'll take one out of here. And we're going to take a look at the inside. And hopefully we'll get to see some of the different layers here. Okay, so we've opened it up. So this lighter layer around here is the cortex. The little covering, there's a membrane around the outside called the capsule. And then this other layer in here, then you've got the medulla, where a lot of the filtering structures are at between these. And then this part in here, central inside area of the kidney, is the pelvis. And that's where the urine is collected, filtered out of the blood. And then that's going to travel down to the base, right in the crotch area, into a little sac that's called the urinary bladder. And I believe I cannot find it on this animal. Okay, so this animal here is a female. You can tell by underneath the tail. On pigs, it's kind of protruding a little bit. If it was a male, it would have 2 testes hanging down here. So on the inside then, this little bump right here is the right ovary, and this little bump here is the left ovary. These would be the fallopian tubes that carry the eggs from the ovaries down there. And then down below in here would be the uterus. And this is where the umbilical cord hooked on to the pig. And you've got, if we can see here, 3 sets of vessels to be connected there. This seals off after the pig is born. And just like in humans, when they snip the umbilical cord and then it dries up and falls off. You got the same thing that's going to happen with all mammals. And that's going to conclude our dissection of the pig.